Okay, welcome back. It's Church History Part 2. This one might be short, it might be long, I don't know. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so for this one, we're going to be going from the start of the Arab conquest, 642, all the way to the start of the Ottoman Empire. That's 1517. Okay, so we're covering like 900 years. How do you already have a question? Exactly. Okay. So the conquest starts in 641, all right? And then they finish it in 642. And this is a rare occasion where, yeah. Okay. This this is recorded. You can watch it later if need be. I need to get through so many. Okay, I'm gonna try. Be quiet, please. Respectful. What? I just learned about the Ottoman Empire. Okay, that's cool. Good for you. Okay, conquest starts 641, and it's completed in 642. Okay, so the Copts and the Melkites. Do we remember what Melkites are? No, they're the Greek Orthodox Church that's in Egypt. Okay. Okay. So they're often at war because one accepts the Council of Chalcedon and one doesn't. Okay? And this is one of the weird times where we were actually kind of friends because we fought together against the Arab invaders. This is an important pope, Pope Benjamin, okay? He was originally seen as like someone who wanted to help the Arabs come into Egypt, but like he couldn't have because he was exiled in 631 and came back in 644. Conquest happened 642. Like, so he had no influence or power to aid or like stop the army from coming in. And at this time, most of the Egyptians see the Arabs as just like people who are coming through the land. You know, they're not going to be permanent or anything. They come and they go. Okay. So the Coptic leader, Shinut of the Thebed, joins the new Arab general, and he starts using his like influence to bring Pope Benjamin back out of exile. And he used some of his own money to restore the Church of St. Mark's in Alexandria. And like a lot of other Coptic elites did this too, but they like they used it also to like protect what they owned in a sense, because the government was kind of, oh, that's yours? No, it's mine at that time, you know? Okay. So, because the Arabs don't really care that much about how people are existing within their land, their main goal is taxes, right? So they come in and they start taxing. They don't care about church issues, but the government setup that was there under the Byzantine Empire was still the same, and so the Copts are still answering to the Melkites, who have been persecuting them through like taxing clergy and like just in general discriminating against them. This term, people of the book, is a Muslim term for Christians and Jews, all right? And like in this early decade, a lot of the Copts had some freedom now because, you know, Rome wasn't like do this, do that. So they're enjoying some freedom now. But we have a large shift in people changing religions, okay? So a lot of people were switching to the Greek church or the Melkites, and there was a lot of conversions to our hierarchy, so a lot of conversions to the Copts, and there's like only a little bit of conversion to Islam. So, I'm going to butcher names. I'm going to warn everyone about that again, okay? And don't laugh at me loudly. So, Abd al-Aziz ibn Marwan, he comes in, he has Athanasius the Syrian and Isaac the Egyptian, and both of them were his secretaries, and both of them were Coptic, right? And they were able to bring in other Coptic people into the government. He's the first Arab official to intervene with like our election of the patriarch. And he sets kind of this standard for how the government should interact with the Coptic church. And he starts, initially he was kind of mean towards the Copts, but later on he grew a better relationship with Pope Isaac, and he became much nicer with the Copts. Oh wow, I didn't even transition. This is Umayyad dynasty, okay? So this is one of the many dynasties we're going to go through, okay? I'm sorry, I shouldn't yawn, that's a bad example. Okay, so Al-Aziz starts implementing this Arabizing edict, okay? So basically, what this does is says all the records of the country should not be written in Greek anymore. We're putting them in Arabic, all right? And so Arabic becomes like the language of elites, of all the literature, and eventually Egyptian Christianity, okay? Now, in the early 8th century, we have a land survey and a tax assessment, okay? So jizya is implemented, okay? This is a tax on all non-Muslim males, okay? And throughout history, it's a very common theme. When people raise taxes, people get angry and start revolting. Here's the thing about our Coptic revolts. They're very badly labeled because they're not, it wasn't like only Coptic people going out and being like, no more taxes. It was like, it was everyone, you know? And it wasn't even like revolts. They were small little disturbances in cities. Some got up to the scale of a civil war, but it was mainly like just Egyptians fighting in this. And then later it was Arab Muslims. Okay. Oh, I dread every single name that comes up. Like I read these and I pronounce them before I come up here, and then I forgot. It's gonna be bad. Okay. Governor Qura ibn Sharik, okay? He starts pursuing taxes, okay? And in the pursuit of taxes, he starts stealing marble out of the churches, okay? And this is like the first sign of the government wanting to control how we could build churches and like synagogues for the Jews too. Okay? This is also the first state-sponsored discriminatory law against Coptic people. Okay, so the government was like, yes, discrimination is cool now. Okay. Then in 717, we have Caliph Umar II, okay, and he makes more discriminating laws against Copts. Okay, and then Ubayd Allah ibn al-Habhab, he's the minister of finance. Okay, and he starts telling Arabs like, hey, we have this nice fertile land in the delta of Egypt, you should come. And so farmers start coming, and it starts spreading Arabic, and it starts spreading Islam like crazy. Okay? So this is a little revolution that had a big consequence. Okay? So the Abbasid revolution in 750. So the Abbasids take control of the caliphate, or like the leader of, I think it's just the Arabs in general, but like Islam is associated with it too. So they take control of the caliphate and they execute Marwan II, okay? And this transition is especially hard for Pope Michael I because he was taken hostage during it. And so, you know, being taken hostage, not the most fun thing. Well, you know, but he got out of it. So that's good. Okay. So now the jizya changes, okay? We're going from taking jizya from all non-Muslim men, including converts. So if you converted, you still had to pay jizya. They stopped that, and now it's just people who are not Muslim that have to pay it, okay? And this starts, everyone's like, I don't want to pay this tax. I'm going to Islam, okay? So a lot of people start converting. But the Copts are still like the majority religion up until the 9th century, okay? During this time, a lot of people are asking questions about Christianity and Judaism, and they're challenging it, okay? So the Syrians are so fast with their apologetic responses. They come in the same year that all these questions are being asked, and they start this huge translation program of taking the Bible and putting it into Arabic. And then Egypt gets around to it like the mid-10th century, okay? And once Arabic translation started, the Copts start drafting Arabic Christian texts like you've never seen before. We're just pumping them out. Okay, so Abbasid rule was like pretty chill, low key. The only real like riots were caused by taxes. Nobody likes taxes. Okay, and then Pope John IV comes in, and he starts a huge building program, and he starts like putting relics in all the different churches that he's building. But people are still converting to Islam, remember, because of that jizya tax. And the Coptic writings, like it gets so low. It's the all-time low, okay? So like writings in Coptic, okay? But the Arabic Christian texts were still being pumped out. Okay, 9th century, we have quite a few things happening, okay? Harun al-Rashid decrees that only churches and synagogues before the conquest in what year? Arab conquest. Huh? 641, exactly, okay? So every church built before 641 is allowed to stay up, okay? The rest of them have to come down, right? Before he came into power, like there's not a lot of focus on buildings. Like it's just a building, it stands there, But now they're like, no, they can't stand. So the late Umayyad officials, so the dynasty before, they had to be like bribed a little to stay for like the Copts to keep building their churches. But like it was still going on, Al-Rashid sets a standard again, but it's only like in place for a very short time, so it's not really like a big thing. But a lot of churches were destroyed, but we rebuilt. Okay, this is another bad name. I asked 2 Arabic speakers how to say this, and they both said different things. So I'm going to use white boy pronunciation on this, okay? Caliph al-Mutawakkil. Okay. Okay, so he wanted to restore Orthodox Islam, okay? Meaning he wanted it to be the most, like, what's a good synonym? Synonym for Orthodox, like the most hardcore, like rigorous version of Islam, okay? So in order to do that, you have to start persecuting Christians and Jews, right? So they start destroying churches, they remove Christian officials from the government, and they try to force Islam on some of them, and then they impose all the dhul regulations, okay? So those are the ones that talk about like, oh, you can't dress like this, you have to behave like this in public, all that. Okay, so there's a small little uprising, okay? The Tulanid rule, okay? So during this time, from 868 to 905, the church faces difficulties, but like the community as a whole was fine because we still had Copts in the government. The thing was, Ahmed ibn Tulun would ask for like a lot of money from Pope Michael, like all the time. And so this little rule goes on for a little, and then the Abbasids reconquer their area, and then starts the rule of the Ikhshids. Ikhshidids? Yeah, okay. But the Christians had way bigger problems because we had simony going on. There's a lot of conversion still, and there's some trouble down in Ethiopia. Does anyone remember what simony was? Simony? Okay, no one? Okay. It's the buying and selling of like relics or holy items. Okay? No. Nobody cares. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Yeah. So, Fatimid rule starts. Okay, and we have General Jauhar. Okay, and he founds the capital city that we all know and love of Cairo. Okay, which translates to the victorious city. Okay, and then after the Fatimid Imam al-Muiz, okay, when he was moving to Cairo, it was said that he had a bunch of camels following him, and all those camels had so much gold on them that they would literally stumble the whole way there. Okay. So in terms, like economically, during this rule, we have gold, we have flax, we have sugarcane, a lot of trade, a lot of things we can trade. We have control of North Africa and Syria, and we absolutely dominate the Red Sea trade, okay? But, there's a lot of economic growth, and, politically, there's not much drama going on. Okay, so the Fatimids are pretty, reserved in how they deal with, the different religions. So again, we have Copts back in the administration, and a lot of the Coptic popes had good relations with both elites and the imams. Okay. And then Pope Ephraim, okay? He comes in, he's a Syrian merchant, okay? And he was chosen during a period where, because the Syrians and the Copts weren't always the best of friends. So he was chosen during that time when they eventually became friends, okay? And we've had four Syrian patriarchs in total, all right? So, another important name, along with Pope Ephraim, is Bishop Sawiris ibn al-Muqaffa, okay? So he's a theologian and apologist, and what's it called? Oh, that's all I have on him, because I have more later. Okay. He's a theologian and apologist, all right? During this time, a lot of Coptic Arabic literature is coming out, okay? So it's it's an Arabic Christian text written by specifically Copts, okay? And we have a bunch of translation problems happening too, okay? So we're taking Coptic and Greek writing, and we're putting it into Arabic. We're taking the Sahidic Coptic for the liturgy and our books, and we're putting it into the modern Bohairic Coptic. Greek is still commonly spoken among the Copts, but it loses its kick in the 10th century. But Greek in liturgy survived until the 14th century as the language that we say everything in, before it got replaced with Arabic. Okay, Muqatta Mountain. I'm sure we all know the story. We're going to get into a bit of detail about it, okay? So, this is where Pope Ephraim and Bishop Suwiris are heavily involved, okay? So for a bit of context, the Imam Al-Aziz liked to have these debates, okay, in his house, where he would have the three monotheistic faiths, okay? Anyone know what monotheism is? No, wait. Monotheistic beliefs, yeah. No, I said it, and I was like, wait, that sounds like that one heresy that, like, is bad, you know? So monotheistic means what? One God. We believe in one God, okay? So he took Muslims, Jews, and Christians, and he put them all in this room together, and they would all debate with each other, all right? So Bishop Suwiris is a very good apologist. He comes in and he absolutely decimates the Jewish opponent, okay? I have like writings on what was said exactly. It's awesome, okay? So the opponent is mad about it, and he's like, but Matthew 17:20 says that if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. So can you move a mountain? And then Bishop Suwiris is just like, watch, you know? So Al-Aziz, the Imam, he's like, okay, until this is proven, okay, Christians would be persecuted, right? Or unless this is proven, Christians are being persecuted, okay? So they call for a 3-day fast. Pope Ephraim, on the 3rd day, sees St. Mary. She tells him, find Simon the tanner. And later that day, all 3 religions meet at the base of the mountain, okay? And Simon is standing in the congregation, but directly behind the Pope, okay? And you know this part, they say Kyrie eleison, they do Matanya. When they come up from the Matanya, the mountain raises, and they go down again. It goes down, comes up, goes down, comes up, goes down. 3 times. And then Al-Aziz is like, stop, okay, we get it. You have proven the soundness of your faith. And he backs away slowly. So, because of this, Christians are now allowed to actually rebuild churches. The nativity fast is lengthened from 40 to 43 days, all right? And it gives the Christian scriptures like, what's it called? Like a firm foundation. Like, yeah, this is true. We did move a mountain. You know? Okay. What's it called? There's some, like, the official accounts say that Mokata Mountain only rose and fell 3 times, okay? There are, like, in the later centuries, people with good intentions play it up a bit more than what it was. So they're like, oh yeah, the mountain flew so high, it blotted out the sun, and like when the Christians walked forward, the mountain moved backward. Or I heard one, like the mountain hopped 3 times. And it's like no, it's in the same place. It went boom, boom, boom. Okay? So, you know, a lot of, what's it called? Some like stories within the church get like played up a bit more than what they are. Again, it's not with bad intention. It's just like, it's the truth, you know? So you got to look into the historical stuff if you want to see, like, legitimately what happened, you know? Okay. That was a tangent. You don't need to know that. Okay. So, Al-Hakim but is it B or by? It's B-I. I'm going to say B, Amar Allah, okay? At the start of the 11th century, again, they remove Christian government officials, okay? And then he starts forcing conversion. And then he's like, we're doing Dhul regulations again. And then he closes every church for 3 years, okay? longer than COVID. All right? He also attacked churches and attacked the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Church of the Resurrection, and he renamed it Church of the Rubbish Heap. Okay. Do we all know what is that, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre? Okay. It's the hole that the cross was in, okay? They have the table that Christ's body was anointed on, and they have the tomb of Christ in the center of the church. Okay? So this is like the most important church. And he renames it the rubbish heap. And I swear, if I was alive during that time and I heard that and I saw the guy, it would be on sight. Like, he's gone. Like this, when I was making these slides, I'm sitting there like fuming, like, you know? But it's okay. He's dead. I can't hurt him. Okay. So, after his reign ends, the Coptic calendar is officially renamed to Anno Martyr, Year of the Martyr. Okay? So, the Copts now get to relax a little, right? We rebuild churches, and this is all influenced under Bard al-Jamali. He's Armenian. Okay. Pope Christodoulos comes in, and he starts phase 2 of Coptic to Arabic translations, okay? And he ends the celebration we did called the celebration of the pre-sanctified gifts. The text doesn't really give context to what those are, so just know what it's called in that he ended it, okay? So then we have the Pact of Umar II, okay? So this is the most important document for the legal status and treatment of Dhims, okay? Or people who were not Muslim, okay? And like I said before, some of the laws or clauses in it focus on oh, you can't build, you have to wear this, you have to do your hair this way, you know? So, I don't know when, but Pope Cyril II comes in, okay? And he is the one who moves the papal residence from Alexandria to Cairo, okay? And a lot of people are like, why would you do that? We are the Church of Alexandria, not the Church of Cairo, okay? So the thing is, when the Arabs came in, Alexandria loses a lot of its political power. And also, Alexandria to Cairo on donkey is a long time, okay? So it's really bad for negotiation between Pope and Imam, okay? And at the start of the 8th century, a lot of the popes were just living in the Delta because it was closer to Cairo, okay? So the popes were living there in the first place, you know? Why not move the residency? Okay. And then we have a big problem, because there's a bishop over the Cairo diocese, and the pope is over Alexandria, right? So if the pope moves to Alexandria, okay, the bishop automatically is out, okay? And people are like, how are we going to operate without a bishop? How's the pope supposed to run the Diocese of Alexandria and Cairo? You know, so this was a lot of fighting, and Pope Michael IV and Pope Macarius II took most of the flack for this. And then Pope Gabriel II, he comes in and he does something amazing to stop all the arguments, okay? He says no. He just simply refuses. He's not putting a bishop in, okay? And he also brings the number of liturgies that we pray from 12 to the 3 that we have today, okay? Okay. I'm moving fast. I know. I'm sorry. You can slow me down on YouTube. Okay. So the mid to late 11th century, okay? The history of the patriarchs is this long book where we go through all the patriarchs, okay? And it gives so much history between the conquest and the Ayyubid rule, Mahub ibn Mansur is the one who like revised it and translated to Arabic the text to put in Pope Cyril II and Pope Michael IV, or the sixth actually. Okay. A lot of people say history of the patriarchs was Bishop Sawiris. It wasn't. It was Mahub ibn Mansur. Okay. This is where, so the Crusades start to happen after this, and this is where Coptic and Muslim interactions start to get like really bad. Okay. So after Al-Hakim, the Copts are distrusted. Okay. They're seen as a it's called the fifth pillar. It's like something that's, how do I explain it? It's like within your government almost, but like it could just like come back to betray you, you know? So like they just, in general, they didn't trust the Copts, okay? And so, you know, when you don't trust the Copts, what do? Persecute them. Okay, so riots start attacking churches and different like stores and establishments. Right? So now we start Ayyubid rule. Okay, there's lots of rebuilding and a lot of literature that comes out. Okay, Awlad al-Asal. Okay, this is a group of brothers who were called sons of the honeymaker. Okay, there were Al-Asad, Al-Safi, and Al-Muttaman, okay? They write a lot of theology and an edition of the Gospels, okay? Al-Safi wrote Compendium, which is the most influential Coptic Arabic book of like the church's laws and rights, and it's used in Ethiopia now. All right, okay. Bishop Bulus of Misr, Misr? Okay. He writes on the book of Revelation and theology. Al-Makin, he writes history of the Muslims and Ayyubids. Ibn al-Rahib, he writes the book of histories. Okay? All right. Bishop Yohanna al-Samanudi. I don't know. Okay, so he writes something called the Sulam or ladder, which is the Coptic Arabic word list, and the Muqaddimah. Okay, it means introduction. It's like a Coptic grammar. Okay, so the Sahidic and Bohairic Coptic texts now also get translated into Arabic, and Coptic dies here. Okay, if you want to learn Coptic, you have to be taught in Arabic how to speak Coptic, okay? And it's basically reduced to what it is today, like a liturgical language. Okay. Salah al-Din is the founder of the Ayyubid dynasty, okay? So he brings back the Sunni rule in Egypt. That's one of the denominations of Islam. And so he takes power because he has a good fight against the Crusaders, and he like holds them back. And then in pursuit of getting more men for his army, he tries to uphold this image of being like a very just and right Muslim and like a good defender of Islam. But that means if you want to be pious and like look good, you have to enforce Dhul regulations, okay? So we're back under regulations. And his like harshness towards the Christians ended after the Arab victory at the Battle of Hattin and the recapture of Jerusalem in 1187. All right? I know it's a lot. Don't look at me like that. Okay. Pope Cyril III, okay? Simony, buying your rank, right? So he said, I want to be pope in 1216. And then in 1235, he became pope. How? He bribed Muslim officials like crazy, okay? And he practices simony as well, okay? So on top of buying his rank, he starts buying and selling and trading all the relics and stuff, okay? So because we had such a bad pope, okay, our amazing synod or group of bishops comes in and they limit his power, okay? With the Copts and like Orthodox in general, our power doesn't rest with one pope, okay? We don't put all the decision making on the pope, okay? We come in and we say, as a synod, what should be done, okay? So ultimate authority within the church is with the synod, okay? And so they come in, they limit Pope Cyril III's power. Bishop Bulis of Misr, okay? He's chosen to oversee the pope and basically babysit him, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop, that type of thing, okay? Pope Cyril III dies in 1243, and then there's no pope for 7 years after him, okay? So, when the mid-13th century comes around, we have the Dithnar and the Synaxar written, okay? And they hold their general shape throughout the 19th century. Both of the texts have been revised and edited. Obviously, we have more saints now than they did. Okay? And what's it called? So both texts focus on the commemoration of martyrs, saints, patriarchs, and biblical figures. Okay? The Dithnar, which is all the hymns about the different saints, that's more for the monasteries, because they're doing praises every night. They need saints to they need a log of all the saints to celebrate, And the Synaxar, we all know it, we all love it. It's read all the time, okay? Okay, so now we're in the Mamluk rule, okay? So the Mamluks, the Bahri Mamluks, which means close to the river, which is where their headquarters was, okay? They hold back more crusaders, okay? So Louis the Ninth captures Damietta, okay? And he wants to advance into the delta, okay? So all our fertile land. But, he's held back. And then Genghis Khan, I was surprised that Genghis Khan was in Egyptian history too. He comes in out of nowhere, and he deals the first blow to the caliphate, okay? And then Genghis Khan's grandson, he comes in and he kills the last caliph in 1258. I'm smiling because it's so ridiculous to me to think of Genghis Khan in Egypt. I can't think about it, okay? So the Mongols are defeated, okay, in the Battle of Ayun Jalut in 1260, and the Mamluks now rule Egypt, okay? So for the next 50 years, Crusader presence ends, and they stop advancement of the Mongols, okay? Yeah, okay. Don't worry, we're almost done. What? Okay, good. Someone's finally connecting something. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, the Mamluks start following religious policies. And they want to prove their piety and follow the religion rigorously. Okay? And they believed that the Mongol invasion was God's chastisement, or he was basically saying, you guys are doing bad, I'm going to, throw Mongols at you to teach you a lesson, Mongolian Empire, Genghis Khan, okay? Boom. All right, so he thought that this chastisement came because they were accepting, innovations that were outside of, the Muslims, and they thought it was because they're too nice to the people of the book, the Christians, the Jews, the kuffar, or the infidels, okay, as they were commonly called. So, okay? Ibn Taymiyyah, okay, is called the elder of Islam. He's a Muslim theologian and jurist, okay? He has like crazy conservative views, okay? But he has like a lot of impact on how Islamic thought, yeah. So the rigor for like, what's it called? The rigor in the sense of like how much they were enforcing their policies to like follow the religion like the Orthodox way, you know? So that is seen in the fact that the churches aren't allowed to be repaired now, and the governors are under no like compulsion or like pressure to allow them to be repaired. They're just like, you know what, like it doesn't matter, you know? So Taymiyyah said that even if a governor destroyed all churches in Egypt, they would still be within their legal rights. Okay, so that's one of his like radical ideas towards like how the government could operate, you know. So now we have under Bahri rule, okay, Coptic literature is declining, and the conversion to Islam is climbing, okay? And Coptic literature in general is like reduced like crazy in the 15th century, okay? So Pope Gabriel V, okay, he wrote the Ritual Order of Ordo, and Ibn Saba wrote the Precious Pearl, okay? And both of these writings start to influence how we celebrate liturgy, okay? So know those writings. Okay. For how long? Okay. You know these are online, right? I sent you the code. I texted it to you. Okay. Okay, cool. So, in 1354, riots start to target churches. Do you guys remember that? I talked about it last time. It was this celebration, like a 3-day festival, where the Pope would come and he'd have a relic, and he would dip it into the Nile, and this was a way to pray for like the Nile to flood, almost. Okay. So the relics of the saint, I finally found out, it's of the martyr John of Shenhut, okay? But the riots come in and they steal the artifact, okay? And along with the riots, the government steals 25,000 acres of church land, okay? And then over the course of the 1380s, we have Burj Mamluks. They start to overtake, okay? Burj just means, like, of the tower, okay? So, Burj Khalifa, like, Tower of the Caliph. Translation is crazy, okay? All right, so, he starts ruling, the Burj Mamluks rule until the Ottoman Empire comes in 1517, okay? And Pope Matthew has an unusually good relationship with them, okay? But everything starts going wrong and crumbling under their feet, okay? You have the plague, you have a bad economy, you have a lot of riots during the political transitions, and, you know, in this whole thing, if you're mad and you're rioting, who do you target? Christians, bro. What? This is not. Dude, okay. You start targeting cops, okay? So riots come in and they start to, like, destroy Coptic homes, destroy the churches, and destroy the monasteries, all right? So, okay, we're almost done. Okay? I see the last slide on my thing. Okay? If I see the last slide, it means it's the next one. Okay. The Burge Rule, okay? The Burge Rule is one of the worst documented in Coptic history. Okay? There's a lot of but of that time, what we know is there's a lot of conversion to Islam. Okay? We have Christian officials back in the government. That can't go wrong, right? And the most powerful officials, okay, were actual like families of Coptic converts. So people who like converted. Okay? So now we have a new age of martyrs. Okay? People are deciding, you know what? This Islam thing isn't worth denying Christ. So many convert to Islam and then unconvert now. Okay? And if you were quiet about it, like, you'd be fine. But some people proclaimed it loudly and naturally were executed. Okay? And this starts with like a huge surge of 49 martyrs at the start of the 15th century. Okay? Okay. So, hold on. Don't. Okay. So, the start of Ottoman conquest. Okay? We've gone through in about an hour, we've gone through 900 years of Islamic political rule and dominance. Okay? Congrats. I know time travel like hurts your head right now, but it's fine. It's over. Okay? And the greatest achievement as a Coptic community throughout these whole 900 years is survive. Okay? Because all the odds were against us. It's pretty insane that this small group, or like this big group that died out, is now big again. Okay? So thank God for that. All right. We like pretty much persevered the most throughout all the generations, okay? If you compare us to other like religion, we did it, dude. Okay? So, are there any questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, and other words that start with C that I can't think of right now? Are there any more of those? Your stone face? Meaning you want it to end. Okay. I'm done. Glory be to God forever.